You think renting an Airbnb deep in the woods is the perfect way to relax and find peace. But sometimes, the place you think is the safest is exactly where no one can hear you scream. In tonight's video, you'll hear 3 true horror stories, each one taking place in what seemed like harmless vacation rentals. A homeowner returns to his coastal house only to find that the last guest never really left. A weekend trip to heal turns into a terrifying standoff in complete darkness. And a peaceful night of stargazing turns into a desperate escape from something crawling toward the campfire. Have you ever felt eyes watching you from behind a barely open door? If not, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and get ready. Story 1. The Stranger in the Private Room. I own a small beach house in South Carolina, a quiet place I visit once in a while to relax. Most of the year I rent it out on Airbnb. It has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom fully furnished for guests. I always lock the master bedroom, the one I keep for myself, with both a regular and deadbolt lock. Almost impossible to get into without a key or force. This time I rented the house to a guy named Ramon for 3 nights. He said he was traveling with his fiancée, seemed polite, asked for local food recommendations. Nothing about him raised a red flag. After he checked out, I decided to drive down from Massachusetts, a 16-hour trip. I didn't book a cleaner like usual, planning to clean it myself and save some money. I arrived at around 10 p.m. completely exhausted. I didn't inspect anything. Just unlocked the front door, dropped my bag, and headed straight for my room. As I opened the door to the master bedroom, a familiar scent hit me, faint perfume I'd left behind from a previous trip. Everything looked untouched. I thought nothing of it. I collapsed on the bed. No shower. No brushing teeth. I fell asleep within minutes. Then I woke up for no clear reason. The bedside clock read 11:30 p.m. I'd only been asleep an hour. The room was pitch black except for faint streetlight seeping through the window. I didn't hear anything specific, but I felt it. Someone had been moving in the house, a pressure in the air. I sat up, turned on the lamp. Everything in the room looked normal. But as I walked into the living room, I noticed something strange. No signs of guest activity. No beer cans, no trash, no dust trails. Like nobody had lived there at all. I checked the front porch camera. The door had only been opened once in 3 days by Ramon. Alone. No footage of him ever leaving. My spine turned to ice. I checked the guest rooms, empty. Beds barely used. Closets clear. But then I heard it. The master bedroom door closing. Slowly. Quietly. I froze. I knelt and looked under the door. Light spilled from inside the room, and I saw a pair of feet, standing inches from the door. I stumbled backward, breath caught in my throat. I ran to the kitchen, reaching for the biggest knife, but the knife block was empty. Every knife was gone. I didn't think twice. I bolted, jumped into my car, called 911. When the police arrived, we searched the house together. The knife was back in its place, clean, no prints, no blood. And sitting on the living room couch was Ramon, calmly smiling, like he'd just woken up from a nap. He said, "I'm sorry. I just needed one more night. I didn't break anything. I just wanted to rest." Police found no evidence of a break-in. They let him go. I never got paid for that night. But Airbnb banned his account. Still, it wasn't the money that haunted me. It was the last message he sent me on Airbnb before his profile vanished. The room was so warm. Thanks for not locking the window all the way. Story 2. The Quiet Night in Troutdale. I never expected a trip to detox my mind would leave me unable to sleep for weeks. At 26, I was in a bad place. Unsteady job, living with my parents, a relationship going nowhere, I just wanted to get away. I found a remote cabin in Troutdale, Virginia, deep in the woods, cheap, quiet. Perfect. On Friday afternoon, I drove out. A 2.5-hour trip. No nearby homes, no streetlights, just trees and silence. The host sent specific instructions: turn into the grass path between the trees once GPS says you've arrived. Go uphill. The cabin sits alone at the top. I stepped in. Cold, fresh air. For once, I felt calm. It was cozy, small living room, kitchen, bathroom, and an upstairs loft with a circular window overlooking the woods. That evening, I took a walk along nearby trails. As I drove back almost to the property, I saw two men standing by the side of the road. They stared directly at me, unblinking, motionless. I didn't stop, just drove up the hill. I tried to shrug it off. Locals, maybe. But the image stuck in my head. That night I lit a fire, read a book. It got dark fast. Total black outside. When I went to get food from the car, I saw two figures dart down the hill, disappearing into the woods. I grabbed my bag and laptop, drove into town to get dinner. Told the host via message. He simply replied, "No worries. Some kids hike around here." I wasn't reassured. Returning to the cabin at night felt suffocating. Still, I locked up, ate, and tried to relax. Then the lights went out. All of them. Only the faint glow of the fireplace remained. I fumbled with switches. Nothing worked. Pulled out my phone to contact the host. He responded immediately. "Go out back. Flip the breaker. It's on the post behind the cabin." I stared out the window. Pitch black woods. No way I was stepping outside. Then the floor creaked. Near the bathroom. And a deep voice whispered from the shadows, "Don't move. Give me everything you've got." Frozen. I could barely breathe. In the flickering light, I saw a tall man standing still. I dropped my bag and wallet, backing away. He told me to get into the kitchen. I obeyed. A moment later, the door creaked open, then shut. Gone. My laptop, wallet, everything gone. Police found nothing. No prints. The host refused to refund me. Said the property wasn't officially mapped. I tried to find it on Google Maps. It doesn't exist. Story 3. The Blue Light and the Old Shack. After graduating, my group of friends decided to celebrate with a trip to the White Mountains in New Hampshire. We found a cheap Airbnb far from town, beautiful, remote, with a hot tub, and an old wooden shack near the tree line. The shack was crumbling, moldy roof, half collapsed. At first, it was a joke. We nicknamed it the Forest Man's House. On the first night, after soaking in the hot tub and having some drinks, I sat outside on the porch with Alexis, a girl I was crushing on. No traffic, no distant lights, pure silence. Then Kelly, one of our friends, told us to shut up. She'd heard footsteps, slow, heavy, from the trees. I said maybe it was an animal. But Alexis, her face turned pale. She was staring at the shack. We locked ourselves in. Nothing else happened that night. The next morning, Alexis wanted to explore the shack. I didn't like the idea, but went with her. Inside, an old rocking chair, cigarette butts, a crooked wooden clock with frozen hands. That night, we sat by the fire pit, lights off, laughing, joking. Then footsteps again, closer. A sudden blue flash lit up the entire clearing like lightning. In that instant, I saw a shape crawling on the ground low, wrapped in something just a few feet from us. Stephanie screamed. We ran inside. Police said it was a blown transformer and probably a bobcat. But before we left, I looked through photos from our first night. In one selfie, hidden in the shadows behind us, a face, faint, blurry, but with eyes, watching. 3 stories, 3 chilling encounters, and 1 warning: never underestimate the silence of a stranger's home. Maybe not every house is haunted, but sometimes the scariest thing isn't what you can't see. It's what's watching from behind the bedroom door when you think you're alone. If these stories made your heart race, share this video with someone who dares to listen in the dark. And if you've experienced something strange or unexplainable, tell us in the comments. Who knows? It might be the next story told here.